so much for joining me for this webinar on Spier Hotel. I was meant to be joined by sales manager Jolene Witt, who unfortunately was not able to make it this evening. But I'm really excited to be giving this webinar as I recently got to visit the newly renovated hotel just a week after it opened. So it's really special to get in and see the new hotel. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. This webinar has been recorded, so we will upload it to our YouTube channel before the end of the week and send it out in a follow-up with all the sales and marketing collateral that you will need to sell Spier. We'll also have some time at the end for questions, so if anything comes to mind throughout the presentation, please do just pop it in the Q&A and I will be able to get to it at the end. So just for the background about Spier Hotel, for those of you who don't know, Spier Hotel has been closed for the past year, and they've undergone an extensive renovation. So previously, the old hotel was 160 rooms. It was a 4-star product, focused a lot on conferencing and events. But they have now closed all their conferencing facilities, and it's been closed for over a year for these renovations, and it is a completely new hotel, completely rebuilt in places, and it's absolutely stunning. As I said, I visited it at the beginning of March, just after it opened, and it really is so special. So just in terms of location, we are located on the outskirts of Stellenbosch. So that's about 28 kilometers from Cape Town Airport. So it's a really great location. Outside of peak traffic, it's only 20 minutes. So for me, who was just dropping into Cape Town for 2 nights, it was really lovely to be just whisked away within 20 minutes and be within this beautiful property within the Winelands. It's a great base for exploring the Winelands, but also for exploring Cape Town with the proximity. So, you know, you kind of get the both best worlds being at Spier. So this is just a map of our hotel and what we call the accommodation village. And what's lovely about the new hotel is that it's completely separate from the farm. And so whilst the farm is open for public guests, the hotel is completely private. So you will only find paying guests around the hotel and bars and restaurants. So just some highlights to touch on at the beginning. As I said, it was 160 rooms, and they've scaled that back down now to 80. So we have 68 luxury rooms, we have 12 suites, and then we have 2 3-bedroom villas coming middle of this year. We have an amazing food and beverage offering. Within the main hotel, we have 2 restaurants and 3 bars and 24-hour room service to each of the rooms. Loads of facilities around the hotel and the farm, which I'll touch on throughout the presentation. And we also have an amazing wellness centre, which is a real kind of integral part of Spier. There's a really big emphasis on wellness and mindful luxury at the new hotel. So just in terms of context, this is a map of the accommodation village. So here we have where my cursor is, you have a reception area and the 2 restaurants and bars and pool area. And over here then we have the accommodation village with the wellness centre just in here at the middle. And I often say that since coming back from Spier that somebody should have recorded my reaction when I walked in, because it was so amazing to see the new hotel when you've been working off renderings for the past 6 months. And it's absolutely beautiful. Everything is so specially created to reflect this new sense of luxury at the hotel, and lots of lovely little lounge pockets around the main areas for guests to kind of relax and enjoy their orientation when they arrive. We have 2 restaurants, as I said. This is our Veld restaurant, a beautiful open access kitchen. And one thing you'll notice about Spier is they have amazing artwork throughout the hotel and at the property. It's a real kind of passion of the owners, and you really see this throughout the hotel. You also have our garden room, which is the a really lovely restaurant for breakfast and lunch. And again, just beautiful decor. Really kind of blends in with the natural surrounds. And then this leads out then to our pool area. So we have a heated pool that's open for all the guests. This includes children, but for couples who perhaps would want a more intimate experience, or just to be away from families, we do have a private pool at the new spa. Just sorry, my screen's not moving. Yeah, so this is the pool area. As I said, it's 20-meter heated pool. And then just above this area, you also have the rooftop terrace. And this is a really special bar. It has the most amazing view of the farm and the surrounding area. And this is adult only after 5 p.m. So a really lovely space for couples or honeymooners. And they'll do small plates up here as well, as you enjoy your wine. And then looking at the accommodation village, and one of the things I really loved about the hotel was that the accommodation is all within walking distance to your main areas, so your restaurants and your bars, and so really accessible for people. So as I said, we have 68 luxury rooms, and then our 12 suites. So the luxury rooms, these are the luxury rooms, which are upstairs on the first floor, and then we have our garden rooms. Very similar in design, very elegant, very timeless. Upstairs, you have the 4-poster bed, and these rooms are carpeted just as a sound barrier. The rooms are either double or twin. We have a number that are also interleading, so the reservations are really great at helping you accommodate your guests. Downstairs, the design is just slightly different, and here you have a garden terrace. Again, just really beautiful design. You'll see different pieces of artwork throughout the rooms as well. And what's really nice is previously in the old hotel, these garden rooms, they all looked out onto each other. So you could very easily, make eye contact with the guests staying across from you. But now they have, they've rewilded a lot of the property. And so all these garden terraces are very private. And I forgot to add that with the upstairs rooms, or the first floor rooms as we call them, you have a small Juliet balcony here also. The bathrooms are very elegant, very spacious. And the rooms have absolutely everything you need, high-speed Wi-Fi, mini bar, tea and coffee stations. They're all very modern and, everything that you would expect to have in a 5-star hotel. We then have our luxury suites. So these are a really beautiful option, I think, for guests who are staying longer in the area. You have a really spacious lounge and kitchenette area. And again, all the facilities that you would need here. And another accommodation option that we have, which I find really cool, is the owner suites. So the owners of Spier are really passionate about their history, art, preservation. So they created these rooms to reflect a different theme. So this is our history suite, our water lily suite, Cape chestnut suite, and our yellowwood suite. And so these are all a bit more fun and different. And there are only 4 of these, but they were designed for the owners and what they envisioned Spier to be. And then coming in the middle of this year will be our 3-bedroom villas. So you can just see here where my cursor is. These will be kind of set back, and these will be 3-bedroom and also have a private pool. And what's lovely is just along here, you can kind of see where the river flows. So all the rooms, they really kind of open out onto these beautiful beautiful landscapes with mountain views or garden views, and then you also have that river flowing past as well, so really serene setting. And another thing that we absolutely love about the new hotel, which unfortunately was not open when I was there, is the new wellness centre. So the wellness centre was previously part of the accommodation in the old hotel. I think it was maybe 16 rooms. So now they've completely redesigned it and it is looking so beautiful. So it's 10 treatment rooms and includes 2 double and triple treatment rooms. We have our signature experience, which is the Cape Herbal Bathhouse, which I'll explain a little bit more about, but it's a really unique experience to Spier. We have our mindful movement studio, so for yoga and Pilates, infrared sauna, 2 steam rooms, cold therapy plunge. And as I said, we also have a private pool within this spa area. So really great for those guests who don't really want to be mixing with families who may be at the main pool. Another really cool aspect about the spa is that they have their own product range, which was inspired by all of the botanicals that you get around the farm. So this is the new spa, and this is the experience, which is quite unique to Spier, which is the Cape Herbal Bathhouse. So really beautiful experience. When you arrive, you have a consultation with Dr. Karen, and you essentially lie on this heated slab, and you have a full body exfoliation, and then you jump into a cold shower. And following your cold plunge, you then soak in the bathtub. And the bathtub is wrapped or is layered, sorry, with linen. And when you're having your consultation with Dr. Karen, she'll ask you your requirements, whether it's for relaxation or muscle rejuvenation. And she will then compose a posé of botanicals that will fit your criteria, and those will be layered within the linen sheets, and you will be wrapped in that then in the bath for that layer of privacy. And the idea is essentially that your body or your skin can absorb all these nutrients from what she has created. So a really cool experience. Guests also then will get a facial and a head massage while doing this. So I haven't got to do it yet, but my colleague has, and she said it really is phenomenal. We also have completely redone our buzz club. So this is a really amazing facility for children. This is what we call our kids club. We take kids from the ages of 3 to 12. And I'll touch on it a bit in the next couple of slides, but there's a really big emphasis on regenerative farming, giving back to the soil at Spier. So a lot of what they do for children at Spier is very much nature inspired play, going out to the farm, seeing all the work they're doing, and really getting kids to connect with nature and disconnect from screens and just really learn what they can from the farm. We also have this really beautiful elemental play garden down by the VAF area. So this is a really lovely space for children and families to explore when they're staying at the hotel. So just looking then at our farm area. So for context, this is the hotel. So as I said, it's completely separate from the rest of the farm. But what's amazing about Spier Wine Farm is that you have 625 hectares to traverse. So there's so much space for guests to explore, and there's so many special aspects of this farm. Even from Spier is renowned for their wine. They're a really prominent winemaker in South Africa. And there's just so many gorgeous spaces across the property. I've just taken some videos from my time there, but it just illustrates how much space there is for guests, and how beautiful the views are as well. So this bridge here, this leads on over then to their farm area, where you can visit and meet the team who are doing all the work on the farm. Wine tasting, as I said, Spier is a very well established brand in South Africa. So they do amazing, wine activities, wine tasting, wine making and blending activities. And to distinguish, I suppose, activities from guests who are coming in for a day versus those who are paying to stay at the hotel, they will try to offer a more bespoke experience. So whether it be much more private or experiential, and it will be held down at the hotel just for those guests as well. As I said, there's a very big emphasis on regenerative farming at Spier and giving back to the soil. So they have this amazing food garden, which was previously a paddock, and the team have beautifully restored it into a thriving organic food garden, which is completely pesticide free. So they supply a lot of the vegetables for the hotel. So a really cool space again for guests to go and explore. And again, we'll do tours here. Part of the kids clubs activities could be going down to see the food garden and harvesting some vegetables. Again, with our retail and I suppose local produce, we're really big supporters of local suppliers who share the same ethos as Spier. So we have our cowshed shop, which supports a lot of local suppliers and entrepreneurs. And we also have a craft market on the property, which supports different artisans across the Cape Town and Winelands area. And some serious damage can be done in these shops as well, because they're absolutely beautiful. And as I said, a real heart for art at Spier. It's a real passion of the family. So the property has a collection of over 3,000 pieces, and at any one time, approximately 1,800 pieces of art will be displayed on the property. So you can do a self-guided tour of the property, incorporating all the art and the history and story behind it all. And it really is an amazing experience. I learned so much when I was here doing my site inspection, and it's really quite phenomenal, the collection they have. And as I said, a big emphasis on farm to fork dining. We have our own livestock, as you can see here. We have Farmer Angus, who looks after our beef and pork supply. And it, again, it really just emphasizes how amazing the food is at Spier as well. Very nutrient dense, lots of flavors, a very seasonal menu that really showcases South African food. And again, we really encourage guests to go and explore the farm. So we have 5 to 10 kilometer trails of farm that can be explored by bike, Segway, or just simply walking or running. So lots of space here for guests to explore. This is the elemental play garden I mentioned, just for the children. It's around the VAF area, so this is a really nice space for families, and that's something that the owners have really, I think, encapsulated well, is the different spaces for different groups at the hotel. There's been a lot of rewilding at the property as well, so beautiful natural pathways across the property. We often find that couples tend to navigate towards the river and area, while families tend to stay around this VAF area and where the elemental play garden is. So really, again, lots of space, and guests can go to the picnickery, collect their picnic and find a spot across the farm to enjoy. Just a really special place. So as I said at the beginning, the previous Spier was very popular for conferencing and events. All those conferencing facilities are now closed. However, we do have smaller event spaces available. However, they are being quite strict in terms of numbers. They really are trying to or have moved away from that kind of business. But these are for more niche, I suppose, art-focused events on the farm, but still very beautiful intimate spaces if you do have guests looking for that experience. And this is just an aerial shot of the farm. Here is just the kind of lake area between the hotel and the farm. And then just looking at rates, we will send this out in the follow-up, but Spier is working on a dynamic pricing structure. So these will fluctuate according to market demand. However, if you do, this is a good indication of what the farm rate is for the room categories. And if you do have any inquiries about direct contacts or bookings, Jolene will be looped into all of those conversations.